In today's video, we're going to break down UCLA's 70-79 loss against the Illini of Illinois. In this game, we saw Terrance Shannon explode for 29 points on 8 of 9 shooting from 3. And while Shannon is an absolute stud and possibly a future pro, it was UCLA's defensive scheme that can rely quite a bit on switching that allowed Shannon to burn the Bruins. In Mick Cronin's UCLA defensive scheme, the Bruins often will switch a lot of actions. As you see here, they switch a ball screen action where Tiger will switch onto the roller, but will immediately slide a bigger Hawkes onto the roller and then switch again with Clark, ensuring he's not stuck on a big. But it was the Bruins' perimeter switches involving Shannon that burned them, as Tiger switches him to Singleton, leading to an uncontested 3. Here, Tiger sees the ball screen coming, but Illinois uses it as a decoy as it's never really set. As you see, Tiger goes with the roller, leaving Clark late to get to Shannon. Here, Clark goes under the ball screen with bonus showing that leads to an eventual switch, and Shannon takes advantage with a small step back. Here, Clark goes over the top, and Hawkes shows a little low to defend the drive, leaving Shannon with a good look at his only miss from 3. Here, Clark gets stuck on the dribble handoff, clearly expecting a switch, but Andrews isn't on the same page, allowing Shannon to turn the corner. Here, another dribble handoff involving Singleton, who's expecting the switch, but Hawkes isn't on the same page, even though Shannon turns it over. Again, Hawkes, Singleton miscommunicate on another switch, which gets Hawkes off balance enough, giving Illinois an advantage. Here, UCLA plays Shannon 95% right in my opinion. Clark chases over the handoff without the expectation of a switch, and again chases hard over the top of the ball screen set by Deja, giving great effort to get through and stay in front of Shannon. Bona gives a great show as well and uses his length as he extends his arms out to make the show bigger, and he is able to return to his man rather quickly, taking away the roller because Clark is quick to get back in front of Shannon. But Clark makes the mistake of not having a hand up to contest and deter a sizzling hot Shannon from shooting a 3, as NBA analyst Mark Jackson's famous line would say, "Hand down, man down. You gotta have your hand up there." Here's Clark again chasing over the top, putting pressure on Shannon, and look where Shannon catches the ball. Every time Clark chased Shannon hard, it made it more difficult for Shannon to get to his spots. But when they switched, or like in this clip where Clark goes under, it allowed Shannon to find his spots with ease. And Clark actually did a solid job of keeping Shannon in front of him in the half court. As you can see, Clark forces Shannon to get caught in the air and make an inverted pass, and then again forces him into a tough shot on the drive. But at the end of the day, Shannon is a beast, and when he gets downhill, he's very tough to guard. But if I were Shannon, I'd also be tipping my hat to the Bruins defense, as they over and over again gave him great looks, none better than the one on this play, where the Bruins absolutely forgot where he was, leading to the cleanest look of the night late in the second half. Now let's cover the next Bruin breakdown, which was their press break. But let's start with their possession that was executed very well before it got really messy. Ideally, when facing a trapping press, you want to have about 2 to 3 release valves for the ball handler. One in the middle, one on the sideline, and one behind the ball so you can have the pass back. But since this is a junk run and jump man press, we really only need 2, as we get Clark flashing to the middle and then Bailey flashing up the sideline as a release valve. And the Bruins find the middle easily, and Clark advances it ahead to Bailey, who's able to attack the rim, though he doesn't convert. And the last thing you want to do against any trap is dribble up the sideline or pick up your dribble right after you cross half court, which is exactly what the Bruins did. Here we get Andrews bringing the ball up, and he immediately sees the trap coming and changes directions and begins to go right, where he would eventually dribble up the sideline and pick up his dribble after crossing. But what you would have wanted to see the young man do is use his back dribble 1 to 2 times to keep the ball in the middle of the floor where the trap is most susceptible to being beat. This also would have pulled the incoming trap towards him, giving himself more time and space to make a decision, while also stretching the press to cover more distance to have to jump. If he does this, he has a wide open Hawkes middle, but instead he opts for the later. Definitely a teachable moment for the young man. Here we get Tiger in a similar situation as Andrews, this time dribbling right into the trap. And again, what you would have liked to have seen him do here is stop and use his back dribble when he sees the trap approaching forward to him. And if he does that, I believe he has Hawkes middle, as the next defensive jump is nowhere in sight. And really the rest of these turnovers I would chalk up to just being flat out careless with the ball. On this pass, Tiger turns it over, but he breaks the rule of not faking a pass to make a pass. Now let's break down the half-court offense. It was pretty evident of what Mick Cronin's game plan was for Illinois, which was to attack Illinois' switch-everything defense through ball screens involving Hawkes. Illinois' switching defense would create advantages for the Bruins by getting a little on Hawkes, allowing him to attack from the high post or low post all game. And Illinois would counter by sending doubles often at Hawkes in the post, which he would successfully split or pass out of. Here, the Bruins run the old UCLA John Wooden duck play to Hawkes, who kicks it back out to Tiger for a miss. Here, Hawkes gets triple teamed and skips it out to Clark, who makes the wrong read as his man stops very short on closing out on him, which would have left him with an uncontested three, but instead he drives into traffic and turns it over. Hawkes again gets doubled, and he skips it to Bailey, who also makes the wrong read and dribbles right back into traffic and shoots a falling away contested two. What you would have liked to have seen is Tiger lift up a little more and a quick reversal by Bailey to Tiger for the three. Typically, you never want to drive right back to where the skip came from because that is usually the side that is overloaded by the defense, as is the case. It was a double on Hawkes. Here, the Bruins are unable to take advantage of the overhelping Illini defense by not finding the skip pass or attacking the closeouts. And again, you see a very passive Clark and Bailey again shooting a very contested shot at the rim. Next, UCLA runs the Spain ball screen action. This is a twist on the screen for the screener. As you'll notice, after Bona sets the pick, Bailey will screen for the screener, which is Bona, and sets the famous UCLA back screen for Bona to free him open. The idea here is that Bailey's man will have to chuck or show on the back screen, allowing the shooter to pop for the three. But since Illinois switches everything, Bailey's unsure of who to back screen, but UCLA still gets the switch onto Bona, and Tiger reads it correctly and lobs it to the big fella. UCLA also runs a wrinkle out of this set, which is to line up in Spain, but you'll notice Singleton pops out, which confuses Illinois because they're expecting the back pick, which leaves two on the ball and a wide open Singleton. It was also evident that UCLA's game plan was to put Deja in constant ball screen action, since he's the only player that Illinois does not switch with, which gave the Bruins open pull-up elbow jumper, since Deja is a defensive liability in ball screen situations and is in deep drop ball screen coverage the whole game. In the end, the Bruins' offensive game plan to create advantages by getting mismatches with Illinois' switching defense was great. And I also really like the idea of attacking Deja on ball screens as well. But the production outside of Hawkes, Tiger, and Singleton and the rest of the team fell short, as offensively guys like Clark looked very timid and passive, which was surprising considering how well he has played. Illinois' run and jump changed the game definitely in the second half, as the Bruins did not execute well against it, and they really shot themselves in the foot with careless turnovers and playing right into the trap's hands. And on the defensive end, the Bruins broke down too many times through miscommunication, through switching, allowing Shannon and others to get great looks. Also not consistently chasing Shannon over the top of screens and layering him in transition, which allowed him to torch the Bruins.